All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the holiday special, Board Game Broadscast holiday special.
Heck yes.
It's not a Board Game Broadcast episode without some technical difficulties. So,
thanks to our sponsors, the very expensive Be Live for their.
Yes, thank you, the ever trustworthy Be Live. Holy moly! Welcome everyone, and so glad to be back. It's been forever.
Yeah.
We've both been so busy.
Yes.
Yes. But
yes.
It's mostly good stuff. Yeah. But yeah, thanks so much for hanging out with us. We'll see how many people can join us today. I know it's PAX. It's a convention happening this weekend. A lot of people are at that. So it might just be you and me hanging out, but
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. It's just like when we went to Smokes, as part of this is like the clip show. This is like where they pretend it's a real episode of a sitcom, but they're like, but you remember the time you stole the mailman's underwear? You're like, oh yeah.
So let's go back. Roll the clip.
Right. Exactly. Hey Pam, what you drinking?
I just opened a bottle of champagne and I got it all over myself and my shirt and my entire apartment, but I don't care.
Yeah, well,
everything's going to smell like champagne, and you know what? That's not a bad thing.
Right. Well, I was like hurriedly smashing makeup on my face, which Pam got to see before I even started drinking. And I have literally makeup from like navel, like what's cut off is like there's foundation everywhere. It literally like shot out. But that's okay because I'm drinking one of my newest little finds. This is Screwball. Yeah, it's peanut butter whiskey, and it sounds weird. But it has a really like lovely smoothness because the peanut butter, it definitely has a peanut butter hit, which I love. I eat peanut butter like every day. So, and it's super easy to drink.
Peanut butter whiskey. That's I don't like whiskey, but I do like peanut butter. So maybe
you know what? It doesn't have like that. Doesn't honestly? It's like it's like a peanut butter liqueur, I think, and more than like it's not going to read to. Oh, it's delicious. It's delicious. So yeah. So having a wee tipple.
Just cheers. If you're having a drink at home, come to us or not. No pressure. But it is a festive occasion, though. That's for sure. You can see I'm hanging out with some festive broads up here too. I decorated my place.
I know. Like when I logged in, I was like, "Oh God," just like,
"Oh God."
Do I have anything that's? I mean, I've got like stuff that's still in shrink, so it's like a Christmas present. It could be, probably will be a present. Yeah. Well, no, it was funny because I found out last year. It was like, like when normally you panic about like, you're supposed to bring a gift and you're like, I don't have anything. I'm like, girl, I got so many games in shrink. Let me go to the shelves. Like I can figure like I got the price range. I got the age. At some point I need to stop buying games unless I'm actually going to play them. But it's cool. It's cool. So yeah. Right on. Well, it looks amazing in that your festive wonderland that you have up.
Well, the thing is that so I'm in the process of moving. Also, I think we should maybe have a drinking game during this episode.
I'm going to win.
And mine will be process because I can't quite seem to figure out how I say that word. And I seem to say it a lot. So I've already said it once. If I go to try to fix my glasses, which aren't there, that would be one for me. And then for you, it's if you swear, or if you talk about Canada or moving to Canada or Canada at all.
Okay, so what did I do right before we went on air?
You proposed to me?
I did. And what do you think was in the back of my mind when I thought about getting myself?
You just want my country. Okay, I see.
I mean,
not true love.
Have you seen the news south of Trudeau land? I mean, my God, like the worst thing your guy did was get caught being shady AF on a hot mic, which You know.
Oh no, have you not seen the brown face scandal?
Well, yeah, that's super bad, but that's obviously,
but no, it's not as bad as
but
nothing.
Being,
yeah, we won't go down Trump lane.
But I'm sorry, but talking shit at NATO, hilarious. Drinking for that right now.
Yeah, so there's a few mentions of Canada there, so if you're playing along,
and profanity.
Oh yeah, there's a double whammy.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's because also people will watch this. About 25 people will watch this on YouTube afterwards, so they can play along as well.
This is a solid 25 person strong amount of content and comedy, quite honestly. So right on.
I agree. And 2 thumbs up for those 25 people. That's a pretty good percentage, I'd say.
Yeah. No, we're hilarious. More should know this.
All right. So just mentioning our YouTube channel. Be sure to smash subscribe, as YouTubers like to say, and we are YouTubers. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh God, I'm an influencer. All 25 of you. No, it's funny actually, because there's this birthday, for students' birthdays. I don't like singing happy birthday when it's a kid's birthday, because happy birthday is this funeral dirge of a song, happy birthday, we're sorry you're dead. And so either trying to get kids to sing it fast, happy birthday to you, and it breaks their brain. So I Googled one time, happy birthday in a kid's name. And there are all these insane happy birthday videos. One has sloths, one has cats, and it's all this crap floating around. There's 3-4 of them by this one website. All they do is churn out names. They'll be happy birthday today, Kathleen, insert name here, basically.
Yeah.
And so as a joke, I subscribed to it. And I was getting notifications boom, happy birthday, Randy. Boom, happy, is now uploaded. It's now happy Hasif, happy birthday to this. I'm stop it. We're not like that. You know what I mean? If you're I don't want to be overwhelmed with content, you will not be overwhelmed by this content.
It's a steady pace over here.
Steady pace. All you gotta do is hit close, and then the thing goes away. But but it will feel it here.
Yes, absolutely.
And we'll talk about you here.
It's once a month, so it's not
you're fine.
But I think in 2020 we might have some cool stuff going on where we might be able to up the content a little bit. Are
you gonna put that teaser on a cocktail tray and serve it up, or not yet?
A little snack. A little amuse-bouche.
Oh my God. Yeah. One time it was a grape marinated in something as an amuse-bouche at the one somewhat nice restaurant I go to sometimes. And there was but it came on with kind of sour, but then it was molecular gastronomy or something. And then it just came in with heat in a grape. And I was I don't know that I'd want to eat a lot of it. But for an amuse-bouche, a one little nibble punch, I was that's kind of cool, actually. So yeah. So tell us about your sour spicy grape.
So I am. So the reason I put this up is because it's just a blank white wall, because I'm in the process.
Oh,
cheers. Or process of moving. So.
I'm really glad I changed my workout class tomorrow from a high energy, high intensity, running, free weights class to sit and stretch yoga tomorrow. I was thinking ahead.
Yes, tomorrow's definitely a sit and stretch kind of day. Yes. So I will be leaving Toronto. I've been here for just over 10 years, 11 years. Leaving Toronto in a few weeks, and I'm going to be going on a big road trip all around the United States and across Canada. A big old loop-de-loop going down the West Coast, Southern States, East Coast, back across Canada.
Skipping the middle.
Yeah, sorry. I really wanted to go to St. Louis, where Kathleen is, but it would have added quite a big detour. But I will see you at Geekway to the West for sure. But yeah, I'm hoping to link up and hopefully interview some broads on the road. So yeah,
that's super fun.
Yeah, because we're all over, and like we hang out with each other, on our Skype calls and online, and sometimes at conventions. But I don't go to too many. So I'm super excited. I haven't posted about this, but I'm going to post in the Board Game Broads group soon about where I'll be and approximately what dates, because I'm keeping it kind of loose. And try to meet up with as many broads as I can and interview them on the road. Right
on. Yeah. And they can like jump in the back of your parents' minivan with you to do the recording.
Please, oh my God. Yes.
Please make a recording studio in the back of your minivan so that when you get pulled over, you get to explain it and record that and upload that, and boom, more content. That just
and then
works out.
Get kicked out and banned from the country. Wow.
I don't think so.
So hoping to do that, and then we've talked about trying to do more sort of shorter videos of all different broads, kind of sharing tips and tricks on different topics and stuff like that. So we've talked about that, but hopefully we can maybe get that going too.
Yeah.
Kind of build it up a bit more and try to get more live panels at conventions too. I propose to have one at Breakout Con in Toronto. So that would be cool. If you can come up for that, that would be cool, but whatever.
Well, see, I'm supposed to go to London on this spring break trip, but we might have some students drop out. And if that's the case, then it's going to be way too expensive for me to go to London for a week with students when I could go another time on my own far cheaper. So Breakout Con is my backup plan.
That would be amazing.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be so awesome.
Because I don't know if you know this, but there's this country that I like.
What's it called?
Canada. Canada. Like, because you kept yelling at me and how I pronounce Toronto because I say all the letters.
Toronto. I think it's nice when you say all of them, when you enunciate all of them.
Well, nice. there's a teacher I work with, Martin, and so, but I don't call him Martin, I call it Martin. I always just like Martin. and he's like, and I'm like, but he doesn't like it when I call him Marty, so Martin. So anyway,
I like it.
Thanks.
That would be awesome. And then also a couple weeks before Breakout in New Jersey, we're gonna have a Board Game Broads meetup. The first one, like the first event of this kind on its own. Like we've had a lot of meetups at conventions and stuff, but this one we're actually renting a house and we're going to play test games all weekend long, like Thursday to Sunday.
How many spots are available still?
3.
So then I better register.
Yes. That would be cool.
I've been busy. I'm totally planning on going. It's just one of those things on the list. No, I'm totally going. Of course.
Okay, cool. That would be so.
I think I'll have to come out like Thursday night because I only have one personal day left because I took 2 to go to Fan Expo. So
Yeah, well, Thursday, yeah. It's you won't be. We're not doing too much during the day on Thursday. I don't think so. That's all good.
Yeah.
Yay! Yeah. So that's gonna be awesome.
Super fun.
What have you been up to, Kathleen? You've been so busy.
I've been so busy. Like, it's bananas. So if we would have just covered November.
Yeah. Let's break it down.
Because we've talked. So, obviously we talked about Fan Expo and all that other stuff like that. November's been cool. So I started off the month going to NISAGA, the North American Simulation and Gaming Association. And what's cool about that is it's all about how you use games and simulations for like instruction. And the audience is about half educators, and the other half are like corporate trainers who use like simulations and things when they have to go in and like work with, employees on everything from like dealing with organizational change to learning a new process.
Hey,
it's just an excuse to drink. This stuff is very delicious. And I found it at the local liquor store here. So, yay. Along with that, my other favorite booze, I was kind of on the fence because Old Smoky Salty Caramel Whiskey, that's like candy in a glass. That's gonna knock a girl out. Anyway, so what I like about Nasaga is their sessions are always like, there's like an instructive content piece, but then it's always very hands-on. We're actually doing the thing that they're talking about. And so I like it a lot for being able to experience lots of different things. Like even if it's things that I can't necessarily pick up and do myself, but even just seeing how people are using games. Like one guy uses Dungeon World, which is an apocalypse world system series, like RPG. It's like a streamlined sort of Dungeons and Dragons. So if you want to do a fantasy themed role play with D6s and not die under multiple rule books, Dungeon World is a totally solid way to go. And but he uses it in this college philosophy class. So it's like philosophy 101, kids who just have to take philosophy. They may not want to major in it. And so like, so when they do dungeon crawls, they use this Dungeon World structure. And so if you're going to fight kobolds or something, and you're the categorical imperative, believing paladin, or you're the virtuous bard, I mean, you have to like use your character and like, and in that framework in terms of how you make those decisions in the dungeon, which is really interesting. Yeah. So it's super cool. So stuff like that. It was really fun. It was up in Chicago. I got to hang out with some friends I made there last year, and we just had a ton of fun. So that was super great.
Yeah.
And then it was funny because that was like 3 days, and then I was back at school for a week, and then I was gone all the next week for Tabletop Network and BGG Con. But there's something though that is worth talking about in that week in between. And for those of you who are friends with me on Facebook, or if you're not, that's okay. If you're active in the gaming world, I'm sure heard about this, that a designer named J.R. Honeycutt was the subject of a post by his ex-girlfriend, Victoria Band, who wrote a post all about their relationship. And it did not cast him in a good light. And people in the industry were very, very quick. It was actually, I was really scared when I heard this was going to come out, because I just, it's hard when your name could be attached with something in social media, especially as a woman in gaming, which we know. And so just seeing the outpouring of support for Victoria, and how, like Board Game Geek and Tabletop Network, places where JR was supposed to be there and present, just quickly like rescinded his badge. And that was hard because he's been living in my house for the last year and a half. Now he travels, he's gone most of the time, but he was getting a divorce, year and a half, whatever it was, needed a place to stay. I have a 3-story house, 2 bedrooms on the 3rd floor, so I was, thought, hey, it'll be fun to have another designer in the house. Honestly, really haven't seen him much. But then when all this happened, it was something that I had to deal with. So he's moved out. And so all that's like resolved, I guess. But it was really, again, I really don't like being the subject of any kind of attention, really. I mean, for what I do, fine. But if it's anything socially, like I just don't want, any part of that. So that was kind of hard to have my name attached in a very small way with that. But it was even worse too, like reading about everything that had happened and knowing that it happened in my house and how I had heard little things here and there. And and just, so that was really hard. Yeah. And, so I hope that, JR gets the help that he needs, and the support that he needs. I'm really glad that the gaming industry has gone through enough sort of cycles of women, telling their stories, sharing their stories, and not just women, because certainly, for trans and other marginalized people, African Americans, there's been, plenty of negativity. But it was really, really heartening to see just the amount of support for Victoria and for women, and seeing how, like at PAX, which is going on, people advertising safe spaces, codes of conduct. And so it's become part of the culture now, which I'm really, really happy about. And so I really didn't like being part of that or associated with that. I mean, my association was very, very small, but it happened in my house, and so that was tough. So the good thing was, is, I mean, all this went down on the Friday that I was flying to BGG, or flying to Dallas, because I went there the weekend before. So I was able to sort of like get out of town, get away. And then once and I spent the weekend in Dallas, just like hanging out, seeing the sights, which I'd been planning on doing. So it actually worked out kind of nicely. And then once tabletop rolled around, then a whole bunch of my friends were there, and I was able to just, you know, hang out. And then with BGG, and because there are a lot of people who were really upset, really hurting. And I don't want to talk too much more about it, because there are so many more positive things to talk about for tabletop and for BGG Con. But the one thing that was kind of interesting, I think in some ways, was that it was a lot of the men in the industry who, especially they considered him a very good friend, who are having some of the hardest times with this. And I think, you know, sometimes like for women, like we've had enough experiences, we've heard enough experiences amongst our friends that, you know, we have a certain amount of like, we might be, you know, shocked, not surprised kind of skin to us. Yeah. And that, oh, that happened. Oh yeah, that happens, you know, but so a lot of it was like people wanting to really reassure me, which was lovely. And I was glad, because it was hard for me too, but people were really, really kind and supportive and wanting to make sure I was okay. And I think in some ways, and again, I am absolutely not making myself or my role in this anything more than slightly more tangentially related than most people, but people making sure I was okay, I think helped them to feel a little bit more okay about that. And so if I was able to help with that a little bit, you know, I think that's good. So that was kind of a big thing for me, you know, and I don't like talking about it. In fact, this is the only place I've talked about it. Yay, us. But the main reason though, is because I think it's so important for conventions and the industry to be really mindful of the importance of codes of conduct, the importance of having established procedures. Because when I was at UK Games Expo, there was an incident where one of the game masters ran a game where all the members of the party were brutally raped, and then the adventure started, and it was a violation of the code of conduct he had signed. It was a violation of their policies overall, and but because they had policies in place, they were able to deal with it swiftly and appropriately. Like, he was banned. They had support staff on site. They routinely checked in with everyone involved. I mean, it was such a good example of, you know, you want to hope for the best, but plan for the worst, you know, and it was such a good example of how they did that. So it was nice to see that lessons learned cumulatively along the way have helped to create better, safer spaces for everyone. Whether it's sensory rooms for people who, you know, have, you know, or just, they need to have that quieter space. Yeah, absolutely. There's just, and I think, you know, as a teacher, I teach kids first, then content. And I think in all things, if you think about the people you're serving, and then you think about, you know, the games and the sessions and the schedule and all that other stuff, if you put people first, everything else will honestly fall into place too. Because if you're designing with them in mind, that design with the user in mind, hello. So anyway, so that was the second week of November.
And just want to just quickly applaud Victoria for speaking her, speaking out and sharing her story.
She's braver than I am, because I was really afraid of this. I knew that it was happening, and I was that it was going to be posted, and selfishly I was worried for myself, but also being worried for her too, after seeing what had happened when other women spoke out about negative incidents in the industry. So I apologized to her, saying, I feel like I should have done more, when I was here. And she and this other woman who was involved too were the two people whose opinions I cared about the most. And the both of them were 100%, you didn't know, and it's okay, which that's really all I care about. Everybody else, but still it was nice though to see how supportive people were. So anyway, so let's get past that. Tabletop Network. So that was the third week of November. I know. So Tabletop Network were the 2 days, the Monday and Tuesday before BGG Con. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday was BGG Con. So I was actually gone for a full week after already being gone 3 days. I know. I love my school. They're very supportive. Thank you. But Tabletop's great. You've got top designers, sharing their thoughts across the board. I met all kinds of amazing people. This man came up to me. He's like, Kathleen, I've seen you online. I just wanted to meet you. I think your energy is so great. Like, said all these nice things. I'm like, that's so cool. And I took a look at his name tag. Like, oh, it's nice to meet you. It was Eric Royce. Like, he designed Spirit Island. I'm like,
that's awesome.
You know what I mean? So hi, Eric, if you're watching. But no,
we're just fanning over each other.
I know, but that's the thing, though. It's like, I'm very, very clear in that when I talk about myself as a designer, I definitely have gotten better over the years, but I consider myself amateur plus. I really do, and I'm not saying that in a way to like diminish myself or anything like that. It just, I feel like I am learning, and I'm happy to be here. I'm very happy to be here in this place, and so it's really nerve-wracking, though, at Tabletop, because I was a presenter again. I presented last year, and that was a whole thing because what can I talk about when all these other published designers are up there talking? And then I ended up talking about what it means to force children to design games and how do you deal with failure? Because we don't talk about that in gaming. We talk about when everything works out and all the things that should happen. Let's talk about when it doesn't work out and how we process this. And I got like really great feedback for that. So, right. Which, I mean, because it's the one thing I knew I could talk about authentically that probably no one else in the room could talk about. Like I can. Like, have you made 600 kids struggle through game design? No, because your girl has. Here we go. Right. So anyway, so this year they asked me if I would do a hands-on workshop, and I was like, cool, because then I don't have to I'm obviously a talker, but like, what am I going to talk about, And so I was able to put together, we did John Covey of Genius Games, who's here in St. Louis. I did the first part of a design workshop. He did the second part. And so I had 3 10-minute design challenges because I really wanted to get the idea of ideas can't be precious. And the idea of like bias towards action and just start making things. And to kind of throw different types of challenges at people that would work different, areas of your game design brain. So the first one, everybody got 5 sets of 10 different bits of game pieces and then a bunch of meeples, because a friend of mine gave me a whole bunch of wooden bits from their game company. And so people in a paper bag. And so it was called This Race Game is in the Bag. And they had to use the bits, the paper bag. I'm talking for a long time, but I assume you're enjoying it. All right, good. Okay.
I'm concentrating and listening and enjoying it. That's what this is. Okay,
cool. So, so this race game's in the bag. So they could use the bag, they could use the bits, and then, like scissors and Sharpies and all that. And it was amazing. Like people were like not using the bag. They were using the bag as a board. One person, Fertessa. Hey, Fertessa. Fertessa actually laid on its side and made like a 3-dimensional terrain with it. Some guy cut the bottom off, and like the bottom was just how people were like, using that, because design constraints are good. Don't give me a blank piece of paper. Don't tell me to make any game you want, like very specific constraints. And so even the bits, like we didn't just throw like random things together. We maybe try to give like 3 of this, but in different colors, and 2 of this. And so it was a whole lot. And then the second challenge was the Adver game. Wendy's just came out with an RPG that's based on Dungeons and Dragons. And hilarious side note, I've got students who are going to be playing it, which is hilarious.
Sorry, Wendy's?
Wendy's, the hamburger place.
What?
So here's the deal is, like, when I want my students, with my 8th grade, when they want to do RPGs, it's really hard to find RPGs that the content is appropriate, but also so that it's instructive enough to help them learn it. And Wendy's RPG, God bless America and Canada. So thirsty. Oh, so thirsty. So Wendy's put together, like, it's D&D, but I mean, it's hilarious because it's like totally throws shade at like Burger King. They're like the crown, the king with the paper crown. I mean, like, oh my God. Like you get extra strength if you're eating Wendy's during it. And if you're eating other junk food, like from other places, you actually lose stat points. I mean, but So it's pretty hilarious, and they're very clear. Like it says, like buy Wendy's. Like, and I told my students, like this is very clearly an advertisement, but it's like 97 pages long. Character sheets, pre-gen characters. Like whoever did this knew what they were doing, and it's an amazing, instructive RPG for people who've never done it before. Like an all-in-one D20 free RPG. I'm like, well, guess what? We're going to Flavor Country or whatever they call it. You know what I mean? Like, it's hilarious. So, yeah, side note. So the second challenge was an advert game, because other companies have put, like Burger King put out a video game, like trying to be hip and cool and buzzworthy. So I put together a 2-page dossier on the McDonald Land characters. So, you know, the Hamburglar and Ronald and all that. I showed part of the commercial from the 70s, which is nightmare inducing. Whoa. Don't take acid. I've never done it, but I've heard enough stories. Don't take acid and watch the McDonald Land commercial, because you may never come back from that. But anyway.
I will be watching that immediately after this show.
Are you going to take drugs?
No, just all this champagne.
Oh, okay, fine. Fair enough. I was just, don't do drugs. Okay, so anyway, except for alcohol. Moving on. We'll just move on. So anyway, so the advert game, so they have to try to figure out a way to make McDonald's hip and cool, but they only got 2 sheets of cardstock, because this would be a flat pack envelope based promo that McDonald's would give out. And so
maybe it'd be like the Happy Meal box, and it would fold out and be this game.
And if people wanted to use like the actual food, if they wanted to use the Happy Meal box, they could totally do that. But the only extra pieces they could get were 2 sheets of cardstock. So that meant that the more they used the board, the less they would have for pieces. And again, like 10 minutes. I mean, it was funny. The first challenge, as soon as I said go, the noise level was here. I'm like, hey, talk to the people around you. Then the noise level immediately went up, and everybody's like doing this. The McDonald's one, the noise level, people like, you know,
what do we do?
What do we do? Like that one was really hard. But the thing is I was talking with people from Ravensburger about, you know, like the IP process and how they design games. And I explained what I did with this. And he's like, that's exactly right. That's exactly like kind of what we need to, that they're looking for. So and that was cool. And so anyway, so that was the second one. And the third one was, what was it? So I gave them they had like some like wooden bits, and 18 cards. And so the cards had everything from cards that were this big to like hexes this big to like poker size. And then they had to yell out emotions. And so I picked rage. And so I'm like, okay, so 18 cards, use those bits, create a game that evokes rage. And it was really funny because like, again, like the noise level, but then it starts creeping up. I'm like, okay, what are you guys making? And one guy's like, dexterity games. I'm like, yes, you know, but it was really great. Like how you interpreted that, you know, and stuff. So it was really, really funny. But the best part about all of this was how many people came to me either during or after to say, they really liked one of the games they started working on. A few people even pitched them out. I mean, and there were people in the room who've worked on major games, major licenses, you know, like I you know, the designer who has the #1 game on BGG right now. I was like, Isaac, how'd you do? He's like, I made 3 bad games. I'm like, I broke Isaac. Hi, Isaac. You're great, by the way. No, but seriously, like it was so cool. Just like, if I have an interior little compass, a little light that guides me, I like creating opportunities for people that they wouldn't have otherwise. That just lights my brain on fire. So seeing so many people say that they came up with something from that workshop that they wanted to keep working on was like the best thing ever. So I was, great. So I was so happy and so happy. BGG Con was great. I showed my game, which I'm not going to mention the name of because I think you said you have trivia questions. And so, and I showed, and there's 5 publishers who want copies of it. And then my other game, I'm working with a publisher to basically get it to finished level. So, because they don't really have development, so getting it to finished level so they can sign it. And so I've got like 6 weeks to like bang the rest of that out. So yeah, like I'm doing it, you know? So
yeah, you are. And you know what? I will echo Arissa Radupui's comment here where she says, you're awesome. You're too modest. I agree. You think about all the things you just talked about. so awesome.
Well, thank you. Well, it's funny because I always describe myself, and a friend of mine told me that this is not culturally appropriate anymore, which probably makes sense. But, when they talk about like what your spirit animal is, and I totally get why that's probably cultural appropriation. But just for one last go around, I always say my spirit animal is a rhino, big and stupid. And I run until I hit something, right? I just do things. You know what I mean? I'll just try it. So, and then on Monday I wrecked my car.
Well, there you go. Well, that is appropriate. And do you want to tell them why you... No, you won't, because your insurance company might be watching.
No, actually, I told them what happened, and they were like actually super cool. They're like, okay, we'll assume, like on the phone, they're like, yep, we'll assume responsibility over this, no problem. I'm like, because normally they're like, don't say anything. No, it was fine. I just got distracted by something out the window that might have been a pastry shop.
Oh well. No, I love it.
But the good news is my car was like 10 years old, 140,000 miles. I also like going on road trips. So if I get, and also this is another thing, one last thing, and then I know I'm talking a long time, but this will be the first car that I bought as an adult that I won't be buying thinking about the possibility of car seats in the back. Both of my other cars, when I bought those cars, they were bought thinking that there would probably be car seats. Okay. Or there might be car seats, because as a woman, it's kind of the default expectation. So now when I was like, wait a minute, why am I so focused on cargo and storage? Well, more like a Mini Cooper convertible, or like a VW Bug convertible. Like maybe I need a fun car.
DeLorean, man.
No. The repairs on that have to be ridiculous. No way.
The cool factor, though.
No, I just want something super reliable. And I was really sad that I broke my car, because I actually really love Princess Baby Battle Wagon, but whatevs. I'm pouring one out for you, baby girl. Whoa. Let's watch the levels sink. This will be my last. It's so good. It's so good.
I just want to say that, so you're talking about these 10-minute challenges you gave designers. And I just think that's so interesting. And that would be so hard for me, because, I find rapid prototyping very difficult.
Right.
Because I need to just think about it and write it out and think about it some more.
And see, here's the thing is I totally disagree with that. And
I disagree with it too. I just do it.
Well, sure. Like we all do. Because but especially like having the framework like imposed upon you, you are going to do this now.
Exactly. That's what I need.
Yeah. Because like the whole thing was, because there were so many things I could talk about, but the two things that I talked about were just like, the one main one, honestly, was, bias towards action. If it's thinking about something or doing it, start doing it, because you're going to be thinking as you're doing it. And the sooner you like bang through ideas, like the better. And it's funny though, too, because speaking of my car accident, because I had 2.5 hours to wait for the tow company to show up in the cold, 3 blocks from my house. But this one designer friend, or was just, someone I know in the industry and I respect very much, messaged me. So we're like messaging back and forth about a possible co-design. And I'm like, well, if this just isn't plucky can-do spirit, I don't know what is. So, yeah. So
you can think of a new game. You can design games at any time, all the time.
I mean, I'm just standing there in the cold. My feet were like freezing off because I had these tiny little slippers that had no protection whatsoever. Like, what else am I going to do? Let's make a game.
Well, that was like today at lunch. I was just sitting there and I was like, okay, I'm gonna open up my mind. That's how I usually do it. I don't set any parameters for myself, but I think it would be a good exercise. But I usually just open up the gates, I open up the tap, and I just see what comes out. Yeah. And may have come up with something interesting. I don't know. See, it's all up here. And so tomorrow I'm going to make it quick and dirty, and just get people to play and see what's there.
Yeah. I was at a store yesterday, Marshalls. Do they have Marshalls up there? It's like TJ Maxx. Do they have that up there?
Yeah, they have a few. Yeah.
So I was like, because I love my favorite stores.
So you said up there, that's a reference to Canada. So if you're playing along with our drinking game, every time Kathleen mentions Canada, you have to drink. Anyway, sorry, continue.
No, I feel the peanut butter whiskey working. It's going to be a great yoga class tomorrow. When I get like the peanut butter tootskis, it's fine. It's fine. No, anyway, I was looking at all the party games there, because they had a whole bunch of like playroom games. Like they got a lock on Marshalls. But anyway, just seeing like, and one was like 2 lies and a truth. I'm like, come on.
Something people have been doing forever. I mean, so many party games are parlor games people have been playing forever.
Yeah. Actually, I have a book that I bought. It's like from Victorian times as a reprint. And it was like, basically, here's the book for your summer home. And this was like all the different types of amusements, everything from parlor games to like the sing-along songs to like how to shoot game. It's like the whole like Victorian country home in a nutshell kind of thing. I was like, huh.
Yeah, I have one of those old-timey books of games. I think it's from like the 50s or something.
I have a book from like the 1890s for Catholic women who work outside the home. And the chapter on mixed marriages was about marrying Protestants. I was like, oh. I was raised Catholic. So I was like, oh.
So was
Protestants.
Anique is mentioning that she wasn't aware we have a drinking game. So I'm going to remind the viewers of our rules. Every time Kathleen mentions Canada, and I think it's been about 5 times. So if you want to just take 5 drinks, you can just catch up that way. If you don't have a drink, you can just, do a dance or whatever feels good. Mine is if I say the word process, because I apparently can't figure out how I say that word. And I think I've said it twice and you've said it once. And my other one is if I go to adjust my glasses, which I'm not wearing. I don't think I've done that yet. And yours, another one for you is if you swear. And I think there's been a couple.
Fuck yeah.
So play along, why don't you?
If I wink, I've been winking like nonstop, like
Yeah, you should be winking too, and mine should be adjusting my earphones because I do that constantly.
That's true.
But if we add too many, we're just going to be on the floor pretty quick. But Anique is going to get a drink. We'll see you in a second.
Yeah, man.
But I think we have a couple people watching. I'm gonna quickly transition into.
I want to mention. One of the cool things at Tabletop was I got to hang out with Sarah Shipp, who is a member of Board Game Broads. She was there for Tabletop. She was someone, she really loved her game that she came up with. It was really clever, really cute for her race game. And she even did some like soft pitches out with it, like while she was there. And so it was really, really cool. So please, like one of the best parts about building this community and other communities that exist for women in gaming is going to different events. And I totally should have mentioned that. I'm sorry. There's so many women who, first of all, Tabletop Network, last year, there were 5 non-white men at Tabletop Network out of 100. This year we had 20 women. Which,
I saw the photo. It looked awesome.
Yeah, like it was amazing. And then, but also too, because the New Voices Scholarship, we were able to bring in so many more people, from just other types of marginalized communities, just like representation. I mean, it was amazing. My God, I should have mentioned that too. So many good things have been happening, honestly. And so happy to be a part of it. And so, so like Catherine Croft, who's, and for Tessa, a bunch of women who are in this group were able to go because of the support of the New Voices Award. And so exciting. And Sarah and I, we got to hang out a lot. She helped me out with some ideas for my game. Yeah, super great.
She's awesome. She will also be at Playtest Fest in March.
Yay!
Yes. So, okay.
All right.
Okay. So the 2 people watching, it's trivia time. Trivia time.
That's
so funny. I'll give you about 15 seconds to answer, and if you don't, it's going to go over to Kathleen. And I guarantee you she knows all of these answers. Well, she should. Okay. Here we go. So this is a Board Game Broadscast themed trivia. I should preface. And it's sort of looking back on our inaugural year of our show, 2019. So the first question is, who is the designer of Wingspan? the winner of the 2019 Spiel des Jahres, who was also the guest on our 4th episode.
Also known as the Terrible Technology episode.
Oh, God, yes. That is, the episode we will not mention. And I'm asking the questions. She's asking about my
KGB.
My holiday.
Do you know that joke? Knock knock.
Who's there?
KGB.
KGB who?
We don't ask the questions. So I'm just saying you're like the KGB in this regard.
See, I mix it up with KTBG, which is Kids Table Board Gaming. Helena's company, and I was like,
I don't know that Helena's like that. I don't know. Helena's pretty cool.
So I have just a blank white wall behind me. Usually I have my games from previous episodes, but because I'm moving, everything's in boxes. And so I just found these lovely ladies, holiday ladies. Okay, so yes, Anik, sorry, it's too late. If you knew the answer, it's too late because Kathleen is holding it up.
I love game shows. As a kid, all I watched was game shows. I didn't watch anything else.
How much did you wager?
Well, if I wagered all of it, I wouldn't all of it because I talked to Elizabeth as part of our show.
Yes. Okay, it was Elizabeth Hargrave.
Oh,
and
earrings.
Yes. And he said, I don't remember her name, but it was a cool interview.
Oh yeah,
it was good. Cool.
No, and I've been able to like hang out with her quite a bit. Like she's super awesome. Like so nice, so fun. Yeah, she's super great. So yeah. My friend my friend was coming down the escalator at BGG, and he's 6'9", and he was carrying a glass and a little plastic cup, which turns out it was not water in there. And he stumbled over the last step because he is 6'9", and he nearly threw the cup of coconut rum all over Elizabeth Hargrave. So he didn't see me. So I burst out laughing. When I see this happening, he turns, sees it to me. He's like, oh God. And so I start laughing, and I'm like, and then Elizabeth's looking at me like, you're a monster. I'm like, no, he's a friend. And I introduced everybody, and it was all fun. So yeah, she was that close to getting Malibu rummed. She's super awesome. And she also, on her website, I think it might be elizabethhargrave.com or something. I'm not really sure. If you Google it, you'll find it. She has an entire page of like every woman or gender nonconforming person who designs games. It's pretty exhaustive, and it's by region too, which is cool. Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
She gave an amazing talk at Tabletop about women representation. Like, for example, like 20% of people on boxes are women, but 40% are sheep. Like, or there's 40%
more sheep on boxes than women.
Yeah. Like she gave a whole talk on that, and it was really great. So it was cool.
Yeah. So that was the first question. I do have 6. Just like if we're being realistic, we will be going overtime tonight. So if you want, just hang out with us as long as you like. But we will likely not be finishing at 10. Okay, number 2. Who invented Jenga? And that was also my game of the show for the episode 1 back in April. This is probably one of the most popular games in the world, and everyone should know this designer's a name. Okay, a hint, first name starts with an L. Last name starts with an S.
Lucy Lawless.
No, Lucy Solace. No. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, Kathleen. Leslie Scott. Leslie Scott. So the way to remember that, every time you play Jenga, if it falls over, be like, you Leslie Scotted that one. Or we gotta make Leslie Scott a verb of some sort. So people remember, or if you do something really good, like if you get Yahtzee or whatever, it should be like, oh, Leslie Scott, you just put really good, you did a good move in Jenga. I don't know, but everyone needs to know that name. Number 3. All right, so Kathleen definitely knows this answer.
Maybe.
What is the name of Kathleen's game that she previously just mentioned, and she's mentioned in several shows about, I guess they're not Vikings, they're Norse women who choose who lives or dies.
That's so close.
It's close.
Norse goddesses of the battlefield.
Okay, well,
who could
Norse goddesses of the battlefield?
Yes.
What is Kathleen's game based on this? She's mentioned almost pretty much every episode.
Look, it's the best thing I've ever made. All right.
Well, I played it, and it is really, really good, and I'm so happy that publishers are showing so much interest in it. That's great. All right, here we go. 3. Frisia's Revenge. Or Freya? That's a good guess. Not right. Valkyrie.
Yeah. Yay.
Valkyrie. Emphasis.
Well, and the name like Valkyrie means like, basically like Valhalla. It basically means like chooser of the slain. It's so freaking metal, and I love it. So
yeah, that's awesome. I actually didn't know until I read I Googled Valkyrie today, was that I didn't realize that they were women who did that specifically. I didn't realize that. That was cool. Yes, a very badass game. Very excited to see what happens with that one.
Yeah, buy it.
Moving on to question number 4. Who won the Toy and Game Industry Excellence Award in Game Design in 2009 and has a hand in creating many games, including Buzzword, Qubits, and Buddy Wheels, and was our guest on episode 5? Lives in Chicago. Has some great sayings like designing or pitching games is just like selling peanuts at a ball game. Not everyone will like your peanuts, but it doesn't mean the peanuts are bad.
I just want to
throw more peanuts.
I just want to say that when you're laughing and saying the word peanuts at the same time, I don't know that it's coming out exactly the way you think you're saying it, and I'm here for it.
I'll try to sneak that word in.
While we're waiting, dramatic pause. I did get to meet in person Nikki Valens, designer of Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition, other games, who I was able to feature as my designer for the month, and told her how awesome I thought she was, and she was very nice to me. And so no, she was super, super, super cool. So yeah, I was super excited to meet her. So yeah,
superstar.
So think about coming to Tabletop Network, especially as I kind of told them they need to put me on the planning committee for next year, and it looks like that's going to happen. So yay!
Because you definitely need more projects.
Well, this is fine. I go to so many conferences. I do a lot of professional development. It's like, let me share some of my expertise with you in this regard. Like content wise, it's great. There's just few little tweaks.
And it's like you're taking on more projects and I am letting projects go, and I feel so good.
Well, I mean, I can tell you the gifts of turning 40 monologue I've written for myself. I can tell you that later. But that is one thing that's nicer about getting older. It is easier to saying I don't need to fight every single fight. But if I can make something better, then I will.
Well, I think it's good about, joining things, but also knowing you're setting boundaries, being like, I can help. I can help in this capacity. I'm not going to run the whole thing.
And it's also very okay to let other people do that too. Say, let younger folks have some opportunities. I'm going to have a dark chocolate almond. That's a terrible idea. Never mind. I'm going to wait till it's on.
All right. So the one guess I see is Oprah, and that I wish that was true. One day we're gonna get the big O on our show. What was it? I see a PE, Peggy Brown. Yes, that is correct. It was the Peggy Brown, another name that everyone should know because she's awesome.
Yeah.
And so many great analogies and one-liners.
Oh my God.
So good.
Yeah, she's like, I just like to sell things so I can move on to the next thing. I'm like, that's so good. Because like, especially
she's like, no nonsense.
Yeah, because like when you're getting started, like your projects are precious and you want your special little game to be like,
oh yeah. And you don't want to like step on anyone's toes and I'm dealing with that right now. Like, this publisher has had my game. It's been almost a year now. Yeah. That's crazy. And I still find myself being like emailing, being like, hey, like just checking for an update. Like I'm over it now. I'm just gonna either email or call and be like, can I get my prototype back, please? Or maybe just not worry about it and just forget about it. Anyway, not give an F. Moving on to question number 5. Who founded and is so this is actually, we haven't had this person on the show, so this might be tough, but everyone should know this name too. Who founded and is the president of ChiTag or ChiTag, however you pronounce it, Chicago Toy and Gaming Fair or whatever. One of the biggest toy and game conventions in the world. Also in Chicago. Oh, you're quick with that one. You're not going to give people a chance. They might know it.
They might not be able to read my writing. It's terrible.
It's a tough. It's in the we didn't have her on the show, so we don't have too many clues. But you already put out the answer. It doesn't matter. Yes, it was in fact Mary Cousin, who is a total badass, and we should definitely have on the show in 2020. Okay, last one. Okay, this is about the OG Board Game Broad. What is the name of the designer who created the Landlord's game, the precursor for the most popular game in the world, Monopoly? And I highly recommend reading the book The Monopolist, which is such an interesting read about the history of Monopoly. And it is just a wild tale. It reads like a novel. The Monopolist. I highly recommend reading that. It's so interesting. You know the answer though, right? You're just hesitating. I know you do. I know, in fact, you do. Blame the PB&J. Okay.
Isn't it like Abby something?
Like an old-timey name? Okay, it's Elizabeth Maggie or Lizzie Maggie.
Okay.
The OG.
That's not old.
Not old. It's from the early 1900s. She's from the early 1900s.
Yeah, my Elizabeth Hargrave. Elizabeth, that's not Maggie. Those are not old names. It's fine. I'm not mad at you. It's fine.
Okay, great. Well, there you go. Congratulations. Everyone wins.
Yay!
Yay! Everyone wins.
What do they win?
High fives.
How much of your champagne have you drank? Because remember how full that was?
I was here and now I'm here.
Oh.
Yes. So, and Nick, did you guess that before I said the answer out loud? Because she wrote Elizabeth, and then the second comment, Maggie. But I don't know if that's after I said the answer. No. If you got that before I said the answer, you win. Oh, she's copying and pasting. I think she just copied and pasted her Wikipedia page in the comments.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
Legit.
Yes. You remember you talked about you were going to do an entire show dressed up like Elizabeth Maggie.
Well, we haven't done that yet, so don't ruin it for people.
Oh, right. Sorry. I think I just did. Damn it. Really that.
I said a bad word.
Oh, yeah. So another one. Kathleen gives 4 if you're playing along.
Hey, finish the glass, because literally I've drank like 2.5 glasses or something.
This is my second glass, bro. Okay, so before we move on to our
I thought games, you were fun.
onto our games of the night.
I cut 4 inches off my hair last night. I was waiting.
What's that clip of that woman who's like, reclaiming my time?
No.
Reclaiming my time. That's what I'm doing.
You know what I'm really excited about? My greatest fear every time we post something is what will be the automatically generated thumbnail for this episode. Because there are times I'm like this. I've had some facial expressions today because of alcohol. So my thumbnail is going to be like, which I'm fine.
I'm going to pick the least flattering photo from tonight. I'm going to like go frame by frame. No, I won't. I'll find the very flattering one. Okay, here we go. So yeah, so just a super quick update on what's going on with me is so my game Act Fast is coming out in 2020. Contract signed. What's up?
Yay! Finalmente, my love.
Well, I mean, I've signed it. They haven't officially signed it back yet, but they said that I can basically announce it. So I'm just this is just a soft announcement. Until I get the signed contract back, I won't be tweeting about it to my 800 followers. I'm just telling you and Nick and Arissa. Yeah, so super excited about that. I think it's going to come out in the spring. It's going to come out sometime.
I'm totally going to buy it. I'm going to.
You should. It's actually really fun. I'm excited for that to come out. My game, I don't know if I told you about this one. It's a new one. It's called Where the Wind Blows. Did I tell you about this? Yeah, it's a card game. It's not a party game. It's like totally different from what I usually do, but it's testing super well. It's basically, I'm kind of describing it as like Candy Crush with set collection.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I did talk about it on the show. But it's testing super well. And the theme is that it's all these different things floating around in the wind.
You came up with the idea. Was that like Fan Expo? You came up with the idea for that?
No, that was right before Proto-TO. I was just like, I need a new game. I didn't have that at Fan Expo. I had a kind of sort of a card game that was sort of along the same path, but it was very different. So yeah, so it's all these different things floating around the wind. You're trying to manipulate the wind to get them gathered into connected areas, and then you can, once you get a big group connected, you take that away, and then everything drops down depending on the direction of the wind. That's been testing super well, and so I'm excited about that. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, so artsy fartsy, like I said, I just need my prototype back or just forget about it. I don't even know about that game. Like, I feel like it's a great game, but I think 4 publishers have turned it down. So either it needs to find a publisher that likes it, or I need to keep working on it. And so I think I might just need to take a break from that one.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah. The Musketeers game, my co-designer is taking it on just because, like, I'm dealing with moving and whatever. So he has it. He's going to do stuff with it. And so I'm excited to see what he does with it. We haven't talked in a little bit, so I don't know.
Well, you've done like a boatload of work on that thing. So
yeah, I was feeling a little bit tapped out on that one. I've been working on that for over a year. So,
and that's one thing is I think that's a really important thing, because there's a game, the one that the publisher, like that we're working with basically to like get this to them as a finished product. You know, it's one of those things where this is definitely a game where if it doesn't go, I'll be very happy. I think it will, because they really are into it. But I'll be very happy to put it on the shelf, you know, and just kind of like take a break from it. And that's, I think, a good thing, you know, like it's at the end of the day, you know, like to make it the product it needs to be, you have to be in the right frame of mind for it, you know, so it's cool.
Yeah, taking a break is so important. Taking a break from a game or just taking a break from design in general. You know, sometimes you feel this pressure to constantly have a million games on the go. Even we do that too. You know, we talk about all these games we have going on every time, every show. But it's like, honestly, you don't need to have a million things happening all at once. No. And it's important to take breaks. It's important to take a step back and come back to it with more energy.
Yeah, I do not have I do not have the bandwidth to like that much. So no, and that's the thing, because there definitely are people who are really good and prolific about making, you know, a lot of games, having a lot of games, and that's one approach. But it's not the only approach. You have to do what works for you. Don't try to copy what works for other people. It's totally fine.
Yeah, and don't feel pressure to have a million things on the go.
Right.
If that's how you work and that's how you operate, totally cool.
Right.
But, you know, I do think it is good to take breaks for sure. So that's one, you know, we're talking about taking, like, letting some projects go. That's one of them. That's been a big one that I've been dealing with for over a year. So just having that off my plate has been really nice. I'm excited to see what maybe happens with it, but we'll see. Either way, it was a great learning experience, whatever happens. But another big thing I've taken off my list is Proto-TO. So I've mentioned that a few times on the show. It's a tabletop convention I organize in Toronto, and I've been organizing it since 2016.
Proto.
Yeah. It was like my baby, and it was really tough, but I'm leaving Toronto, and I thought about trying to still organize it remotely, but it's just, I just needed some time to accept the idea that I needed to just let it go. Yeah. So I found a really awesome person to take it over. Her name is Carol Tan, and Michelle from Board Game Games, who's been amazing and involved from the very beginning, will continue on. And
Carol's like a championship weightlifter too.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
And she runs great events in Toronto already through her group called Quickie Games, with a focus on, you know, inclusion and welcoming and having a friendly environment and having a code of conduct and all that stuff that I really believe in strongly. And so I feel comfortable passing it over to her. So if I didn't find someone that I felt that comfortable, I would have a harder time, I think.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm super excited about that.
Proto-TO.
Proto-TO.
Notice we clap differently. Oh, Proto-TO.
Oh.
God, this is the worst.
We go, oh, Proto-TO.
I like
Proto-TO.
a lower
Is that not it?
Oh, Proto-TO. Like, it's a pretty steady beat. You're like,
that's what I'm going. I'm literally going. But I like my beginning better. Like, oh.
This is why we haven't made a game together. We can't even clap in sync.
I gotta tell Carol about that chant. I did not include that in my transition document.
That's like been my greatest contribution. So yeah.
So I'll definitely pass that on to Carol. So those are the big ones, I think. So just mentioning again that I'm going on a big road trip around the US and Canada the next few months. So I'd love to link up with any board game broads on the road. I'll post about this in the group as well, but I'd love to interview if I'm in your town, or if I'm kind of close, I can maybe come by. That would be amazing. And Playtest Fest, Kathleen will be getting a ticket. So then there's only 2 tickets left. It's in New Jersey, beginning of March. We're going to play test games all weekend long.
How much does it cost? Cool.
250 Canadian dollars, which is not very much.
No.
And that includes 4 nights of accommodation at a house, and food. So
what?
It's really,
dude. That's a cheap ass weekend. Oh shit! I can't drink anymore. The yoga tomorrow is going to be. Oh, I have a Fresca. Hold on, I'm switching.
But I will say that I think it would be cool if maybe
trivia question. What is Kathleen's favorite soda? It is Fresca.
It's Interrupt Pam soda.
Have we met?
Okay. I was just going to say that I think it would be so great if you did the 10-minute challenge, maybe at Playtest Fest, like during lunch or something. We could do that. I think that would be great.
I can come up with all kinds of things.
Yeah. And then you have to do it too, though. You can't just judge us.
Obviously, well, that was one of the funny things, was kind of like walking around, just kind of like making fun, not making fun, but celebrating.
Making fun, celebrating.
No, I wasn't making fun. But the one thing was, I was actually like, I thought I was going to have more time, and my original plan was to do 5 10-minute challenges, 3 was a good number. 3 was like, okay. Because like, especially like I don't necessarily want to mentally blow everybody out. Although to be fair, that's kind of fun too, to like kind of figure out where your limit is. I work out too much to like, my thinking has changed. So I'm just, never mind, full thing. Yeah.
I think 30 minutes of crunching your brain, I think that's probably good.
Yeah, it's probably enough. Probably enough.
Cool. Should we move on to our game of the show?
Yes.
You want to go first?
Yeah. So, when I first started gaming, this game was a pitch to me, like, hey, you should play this because it's about like bacteria.
It's a big one.
Eat, move, divide. Life is simple when you're an amoeba. So basically, your amoeba is like, and you're like, it's like poop, right? And so primordial soup. Primordial soup. And so the publisher is Doris and Frank. They're out of business now. Doris Mattel, but she is a co-designer. Yeah, right, probably. And then, but also, she also did all the illustration for Carcassonne. So, yeah, and so I think she probably, yeah. So so they did like, I don't know, like 6, 7, 8 games, something like that. I mean, yeah, this one came out in Z-Man. This was 1997. So yeah, this is old, but anyway.
Who's it designed by?
So the designers are Doris. I'm talking about Doris and Frank Nesto. Yeah, so she like designed and published, and for the Deutsche Spielepress was 2nd place. So Z-Man and Spiel von Doris und Frank. So yeah. Primordial Soup.
That is a big boy. I thought that game was smaller. I don't know why.
No, and I actually pulled another one off my shelf. And I don't know too much about the designer, but we were talking about Victorian stuff and marrying Mr. Darcy. And this was designed by Erica Svano, which is cool. So it's actually it's like silly. I mean, it's definitely on the lighter side. If you're going to be mad about the one card that comes in and changes everything, well, don't play this. But it's a fun little game, and especially if you love, like Elizabeth Austin. Jane Austen. I said Elizabeth Austin. I'm switching to Fresca.
Well, my mom loves Jane Austen, and she's married to a Darcy. So,
like one of the actual ones?
No, my dad's name is Darcy.
Is he like? It's a joke. It's fiction. It's fiction. It's a joke. Jeez.
That was a good one.
You're just thinking, those Americans, they just don't know anything. You were thinking it.
I don't know what you're thinking half the time. But I was on the train, man. I'm just trying to keep up. Yeah. So my game, I have 3 clues, as I do. So this game won the Spiel des Jahres award in 2011. Fairly recent. It was designed by Susan McKinley Ross. It's an abstract strategy game with tiles with different colored shapes on them.
Ubongo?
No! And Nick, you definitely know this. You're trying to line up the different tiles by color or shape. And if you get 6 in a row, it's called the name of the game.
Die Macher. No. I don't know.
I know Nick knows this. All right, 3, 2. No, it's not Azul. It's Quirkle.
Oh, God. Bless America.
Quirkle.
Yeah, yes. It's a great game, actually. It's really good.
Yeah, it's a great game. And this is a great little travel pouch. You can take it with you. You don't need the whole... I don't know why it comes in a box this big. It has, like...
Well, the game of Quirkle that I have is currently in a Ziploc, so yours is definitely better than mine.
Yeah. Hey, Ziploc works too. Half my games are in Ziplocs as well. I may need to put most of my games in Ziploc bags because I realize I'm moving and majority of my boxes, of my bins are full of games. So.
If I got rid of 80% of my games, I'd be happy.
Mm.
Yeah.
Really? You'd be happy? You wouldn't be sad?
You know, if I'm not
you don't play them enough?
Yeah.
I mean, I only have about 60 games. 50 or 60.
I probably have around 1,200 in the house.
Woo! 1,200.
This is one wall.
How many games does everyone watching have? How many games do you have in your collection? I'm curious. 1,200? There's no wonder you can't play all of them. There's no way you can play that many. Holy schmoly. I mean, you do have a house, though. So you have the room. So
I mean, I do. And like, if it's cold outside, I can't feel it because it's cave-like in here, 72 degrees year-round because of the thick padding caused by cardboard boxes full of wooden bits.
Also, they act like insulation. Okay,
my friend Aaron made that. He's a dude, but hey, Aaron, hey.
You have 1,200.
I mean, it's between myself.
Arissa has 4. Arissa, which 4 do you have? Can you list them? You only have 4 games? Is one of them? Oh, she says I play everyone else's games. So if I lived in St. Louis, I would. Are you? There you go. You have dropped from the. Oh, we've lost Kathleen. Kathleen is lost. That's okay. So, Arissa, you play everyone else's games. That's very smart. So, it doesn't take up any space in your house, and you still get to play all the games, which is amazing. I'm going to see if I can add Kathleen back in here. And Nick says, I'll let my friends buy them and then borrow them. That is very smart as well. I know, I think I'm a bit too attached to these games because they really are taking up too much space. And I am trying to take all of my stuff across Canada in a minivan. So I don't think it's going to be possible to bring them all. Well, this is an abrupt end. That's okay. So Kathleen, I'm sorry we lost you. But thank you everyone for joining us. Like I said, if you haven't, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I didn't even show you, I'm wearing a freaking Christmas sweater. I mean, holiday sort of. This is my most Christmas sweater. I know it's not even an official holiday sweater, but it is wintry. It's the Coca-Cola polar bears. So, yes. So, happy holidays to you as well. Hopefully, we see you in 2020. Thanks so much for joining us. Subscribe, join the Facebook group, follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Party Hat Games. Have a great holiday and a great new year. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.